This is Zyn. Inside of its hockey puck clamshell are over a dozen pearls of nicotine goodness that are now the only thing I care about in life. That's right, I am full-blown addicted to Ronald Reagan's, and apparently a lot of other people in corporate America are too. But I've got questions about me and my friend's exciting new habit. Questions like, is it bad that we're doing so much Zyn that we are literally running out? Am I gonna be okay? I mean, why do I love it so much? Seriously, why? The most popular brand of nicotine pouch. Line. Inside of its fibrous sac are a few grams of powdered nicotine that come in fun flavors like wintergreen, spearmint, and citrus if you're a total pansy. Now, these little suckers are produced by the Scandinavian tobacco company Swedish Match, who were acquired a few years ago by Philip Morris, a tobacco giant whose brands include Marlboro and Parliament. And I've been a Marlboro man for decades myself, but the missus just cannot stay off the Parliaments. It's a fun little household rivalry we have. That bitch. Zyn has been on sale in the US since 2014, but its popularity has surged recently. US shipment volumes reached a record level of 560 million units this year, bolstered by a flood of jabrones who appear to have created their own language.
Uppy Dicker, little Zimbabwe before the wedding.
It's a Zinachino.
Nothing like a chino mid-air, buddy.
You're Jennifer and a Zins, alright, guy?
A little uppy decky, sweet taste of Zendaya.
Hey, honey. Did you say you had to go to Barnes & Noble later?
Second Zyn, third Zyn, fourth. Holy shit, bro, I'm gonna be f***ing buzzing.
And in addition to these horrifying broskies, many corporate office workers also count themselves as Zyn-thusiasts. And it's amongst these desk-hugging Excel monkeys that I first got hooked on the stuff. You see, a while back, I was working undercover as a vending machine operator in the offices of Charles Schwab. One day, some of the interns invited me to join them in ripping some upper-decky Zinnachinos. I figured it was the perfect opportunity to develop these boys as sources. So to establish myself as an alpha, I immediately jammed a full tin into my mouth and started chewing. They said I was the coolest man they had ever seen. After that, I blacked out. But when I woke up in the hospital a week later, I was a full-on comrade in the army of Joseph Stalin. And I was fiending for more. Of course, other than the music of Sade, I've never been addicted to anything in my life. So in order to better understand my craving, I tracked down a longtime Zynner and asked him why he loves taking a sweet slumber on the old lip pillow.
You've seen the memes, right? It's like what do you have for breakfast? It's like a Monster energy drink and like a Zyn. And like, that's like actually so true. Like, I mean, even like, I'm willing to admit, like the first thing I do when I wake up is I will pull out a Zyn, go get a fucking like Celsius or coffee and take my dog out, and then it's like behind the computer, like let's go. This man, it will shock none of you to learn, is named Hunter Chadwick. Hunter is a data scientist at the federal consulting company Booz Allen Hamilton. He's also a former platoon leader in the US Army, where he first learned to love Zyn. I was getting out of the military and I used to like do dip, like normal dip. And started doing Zyn because like I kind of realized that if I went into an office, you can't have like a fat chaw in all the time. I don't know, it's just kind of gross. So when I was getting out, like one of the guys I used to work with was doing them, and I tried it once or twice, and I was like, all right, yeah, this is kind of legit. Like, you know, it gives me the same kind of satisfaction for the most part, and it's like you can't see it. Like I have one in right now, and no one would know. You know? But in order to properly gauge just how far Zyn sanity has spread, I needed to widen the scope of my investigation. I wondered perhaps if there were any women who liked Zyn. But then I got too nervous to ask any. So instead I found two other dudes who looked like they would give me a swirly, and I had them break down exactly what it feels like to respect the pouch.
It's a head rush, it feels smooth, it's like somebody like tickles you, like massaging your brain almost.
The best way I've found to describe it is just buzzing with the boys.
But unlike Hunter over here, these two fellas got into Zyn the old-fashioned way. Vaping and peer pressure.
I was a freshman in college, and my friend got a Juul for the first time. And then, you know, me being a dumb 18-year-old, I knew no better. I was like, oh, wow, it feels so great. The Zyn was like the smokeless alternative. Maybe like a year ago, I just threw out the vapes and started ripping those.
So I, you know, got on the vape for a couple of years, and then noticed, you know, I played college sports, and then all of a sudden I was getting winded. It's not good for me. I'll go back to Zinning. And then it just got expensive, and I felt like I wasn't getting anything out of it. I stopped Zinning like 10 days ago or so, and I don't like feel any I don't feel any like withdrawal symptoms or all the things that they like talk about. Like I kind of just have been going with it.
And while one might see Zyn's rising popularity as a threat to the traditional tobacco industry, its growth has actually been a strategic move by its parent company, Philip Morris.
What we're looking at doing is truly replacing our own cigarettes with new products.
For adults who would otherwise continue to smoke, switching to a smoke-free product is a pragmatic option.
And it turns out it's actually quite convenient to be manufacturing the replacement for your very own product. Zyn now dominates 74% of U.S. market share for nicotine pouches, and as shipments to the U.S. continue to grow, Philip Morris's quarterly revenue reports have consistently beaten expectations. There's even a Zyndemic shortage happening as we speak because U.S. factories can't keep up with rising demand. Now, all this anti-smoking jibber-jabber sounds like real progress, but it's tough to see how Philip Morris talks about Zyn and trust that it's a good thing when this is how Philip Morris used to talk about cigarettes.
It's true. The babies born from women who smoke are smaller, but they're just as healthy as the babies born from women who do not smoke.
What about the higher rate?
And some women would prefer having smaller babies.
So to get an objective take on how healthy Zyn is, I decided to ring up a medical professional. David Toomey is an emergency physician and fellow in medical toxicology with expertise in the pharmacology and toxicity of nicotine. Basically, he's an expert in chemicals that are bad for you. He also happens to be my actual real-life brother, and while I haven't talked to my family in years due to my skyrocketing levels of fame, I had to bag this interview. So I lied and told him that everybody was getting together to celebrate Mom's birthday.
I mean, I haven't seen him in a really long time, and he reached out, said he wanted to connect, so I'm really happy to see him and touch base.
Hey! Oh, hey! What's going on?
Is everyone here?
Yeah, come on.
We gonna go, like, see everyone and hang out? No? Oh, no, okay.
The cameras are on over here.
The what? Oh, are Mom and Dad here? Or? No.
No.
Do you know that you're supposed to be doing an interview?
An interview?
After some quality family time, I was ready to understand what was actually going on with Zyn.
I would say that the primary health risk associated with any type of nicotine product is fundamentally related to addiction. Are you busy?
No,
you have something else going on?
It's a call from Mom.
A call from Mom?
Yeah,
oh, okay.
but I'll just...
Have you talked to Mom at all recently?
Nope, I'm going to shut that off.
You shut that right? Okay, yeah. If the question is, can I use an oral nicotine replacement product as a way to quit cigarettes? The answer and the data would tend to suggest that certainly any alternative to smoking is considered better. I think that with a question of having never been exposed to a nicotine product to make the decision to use a nicotine product, people need to weigh that decision very seriously, and they should consider things like the effects of having a long-term addiction, whether or not that involves economic effects, the costs of these things, issues related to mood when you stop using these products, and potential long-term health effects that have yet to be discovered simply because of how new these products are.
Or do you think that there's nothing else that you might want to ask maybe more personally about your own relationship with Zyn?
Why would I need personal advice?
Well, you've been doing a lot of Zyn.
Yeah, I have it lining my tongue at the moment.
Think you'd probably stop if you wanted to?
Yeah, big time.
Definitely.
I could.
Why don't you
why not
give him the Zyn?
Just give me the can.
No.
Mom wanted me to take the can away.
You tell Mom. You tell Mom. She can shut the
don't-
fuck up.
Get off me! Give me the can! No! Are you done? Dan.
It was then that I began to realize why I loved Zyn so much. For all the money I'd spent on it, all of the gums that I've receded in my mouth, and all of the strange lingo I'd developed, at the end of the day, Zyn was meant to bring people together. And if ever there was a place where forging bonds was desperately needed, it's the corporate office. That sterile, lifeless arena where strangers are herded in with each other every day to mingle and attempt to create shareholder value. If nothing else, maybe that's what poppin' a Zyn is all about. Turning strangers into friends and getting a buzz on while you're at it.
It's like if you're in the office and someone pulls out a tin, crack it open, it's like, oh, can I get one? No.
This might sound weird, but like corporate sanctioned degeneracy, like, you know, like you go to happy hour and it's like, we're so cool, like look at us, like as a team.
And sure, does being a part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe lend itself to a crippling nicotine addiction? Probably.
Like, I don't even know what the Zenith of this is, to be honest with you. I mean, the next step I can think of is just IVing the nicotine straight into you at this point. Jesus Christ.
But at least we have something in common in our office. It definitely beats getting to know each other over icebreakers, that's for sure. God, love Zyn.
Dan, we're here because we care about you.
I don't have the can!
We're here because we care about you.
Yep, It was the summer of Zyn, all right. 3 months of ripping pillies with the best group of boys I could ask for. But deep down, I knew it wouldn't last forever. Hunter went on to leave his job at Booz Allen to become a pacifist monk in Tibet. Anthony, well, he eventually created his own startup that makes a cigarette you can smoke through your nose. I tried it, and it's awful. Anonymous guy is still anonymous. Not sure who that was. David gave up on trying to have a relationship with me. My sister said he'll talk when I'm ready to apologize, but I don't know what for. And me? I'm still out there, reporting the news. Some things never change, I guess.